Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Esgander, and for my Book Award presentation, I will be talking about the Arab American Book Award. The sponsor of the Arab American Book Award is the Arab American National Museum that's located in Dearborn, Michigan. And this museum opened in 2005, and it is the first and only museum of its kind in the United States. They feature exhibits on Arab American history and culture, and they work to dispel misconceptions about Arabic culture and people. Their mission reads, the Arab American National Museum documents, preserves, and presents the history, culture, and contributions of Arab Americans. I've included a link to their website there below. The Arab American Book Awards are fairly new. It was established in 2006 and has been going on annually since then. They present awards every year in several categories, including adult nonfiction, adult fiction, poetry, and children and young adult fiction and nonfiction. A committee of librarians, Arab American scholars, and past book award winners are in charge of voting for the award winners every year. Their mission reads, the Arab American Book Award is a literary program created to honor books written by and about Arab Americans. The program generates greater awareness of Arab American scholarship and writing through an annual award competition and general outreach. The Arab American Book Award criteria for entry includes that the book must be written, edited, or illustrated by an Arab American or about an Arab American experience involving at least one of the following countries listed here. The submission must also be an original work published in English, and it must accurately portray or represent Arab Americans in an engaging way, avoiding stereotypes and including rich characterization. As I stated previously, the award is still ongoing since its beginning in 2006. They are currently accepting submissions for the 2018 awards. The current submissions must be written within this year, 2017. According to their submission form, reviewers look at overall quality in the writing and originality, and particularly in the nonfiction works, they look for relevancy, sufficiency, and accuracy of information. I've included a link to the submission form so you can check that out below. For the Arab American Book Award medallions, or the seals, I couldn't find any background information on these. I did find two versions of it. They are both blue with gray or silver background. And the logo appears to be based in part off of the Arab American National Museum logo that's on their website, with the addition of the open book to signify the book award. I couldn't find any information on the history of the medallion itself, nor could I find any purchasing information for the medallion. The winner of the 2014 Arab American Book Award for the Evelyn Shakir nonfiction is We Are Iraqis, Aesthetics and Politics in a Time of War. And this book is an edited collection of essays, conversations, poetry, and artwork that were contributed by various Iraqi people, both those currently living in Iraq and also as refugees in other countries. It talks about life during the war, the struggles and how it impacted them, and just about their lives. It is a very real and insightful book. It provides us a window for those of us who have seen the war from the quote-unquote outside. I absolutely love this book, and it should be on the shelves of every library, I believe. Many of us only understand the war from what we saw on television, and I think that this reminds us that there were real, true, beautiful, and talented individuals that lived and also currently live in Iraq, and that they were so strongly impacted by this war. One of the editors of this book was Nadia Al-Ali. Her father is an Iraqi and her mother is German, and she was raised in Germany, but throughout her life she traveled to Iraq frequently, mostly during the 1990s, during the times of the sanctions. She currently is a professor at the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London. She teaches gender studies. And in response to how she reacted to the sanctions in Iraq during the 1990s, she became a political activist. And she found ACT Together, Women's Actions for Iraq. She does a whole lot of focus of her research on gender studies and feminism in the Middle East, on Islam, transnational migration, and a lot more. And she has written dozens of books and articles pertaining to these topics, and she edited We Are Iraqis. The winner of the 2015 Arab American Book Award for the fiction category is An Unnecessary Woman. It's about a 72-year-old, blue-haired Aliyah Saleh who feels that she is somewhat of an outcast as she reflects on her entire life in Lebanon. She is divorced, she's childless, not religious, not close with her family, and she loses her closest friend to suicide. She believes that she has no other purpose in life, and she reflects on how she spent her days working in a bookshop while simultaneously following her dreams of translating famous novels into Arabic. But she never shows those translations to anybody, absolutely no one. She keeps them a secret. It's a sad and really lonely story, but it ends on a happy note, and I encourage you to read it to find out. An Unnecessary Woman was written by Rabi Alameddine, and he is currently an author and artist living in San Francisco, California, but he was born in Jordan. He has also lived in Lebanon, Kuwait, and England before winding up in California. He writes on a variety of topics that might be seen as quote-unquote taboo in several countries, or also very sad or depressing real stories. He's quoted as saying, "Usually what I write about are things that I'm obsessed with, and usually things that I'm obsessed with are things that I am angry about. So what usually comes out is uncomfortable for people. My existence is uncomfortable for people." As a whole, Unnecessary Woman was difficult to get through, but very worth it at the end. And it's a very true story about what life has been like in Lebanon for the past several decades with the civil war and things. But from the perspective of a woman who both incidentally and later intentionally goes against her culture norms. It's a beautiful book that I believe should also be on the shelves of every library wishing to expand their multicultural collection. For the children and young adult category, Hands Around the Library, Protecting Egypt's Treasured Books was the 2013 winner of the Arab American Book Award. This is a children's picture book that is completely based on a true story that occurred during the 2011 revolution in Egypt. There were some more violent protesters in Alexandria that were being very destructive. And as they edged closer to the famous Alexandria Library, the director of the library came out and announced that he had absolutely no way to defend his library and that he has to leave it to be destroyed. In response, some of the more nonviolent protesters began coming up the stairs one by one to hold hands and form a human chain. And this chain was a mixture of all types of religions in Egypt, all types of people. And ultimately, they saved the library from being destroyed. This was a true historical event, and at the end of this picture book, it includes photographs of it happening, as well as a historical summary of the current, as well as the previous Library of Alexandria that was destroyed a long time ago. It also includes a summary of the 2011 revolution, and also some translations of Arab expressions for readers to learn. Hands Around the Library was written by Karen Aburaya and illustrated by Susan Ross. And while they are American, they do have strong connections to the library in Alexandria. Both women happened to be in Alexandria, Egypt during the Revolution, and it had inspired them to write and illustrate this book for children. It's heavily research and accurate. Aburaya's Egyptian husband helped provide cultural information as well as the Arabic translations. And Susan Roth has a strong connection with the library in Egypt, with the children's library. Here is my first page of my references that I used for the information for this presentation. And here is my second page of references. I just want to thank you guys for watching.